I speak today with a heavy heart, Donnie McClurkin said. Richard Smallwood was not just a composer, he was a voice God used to teach us how to worship with truth and excellence. His music carried my faith, shaped my calling, and lifted generations into God's presence. Richard Smallwood was a gospel giant whose name became synonymous with excellence, depth, and timeless worship. His death, confirmed on December 31, 2025, sent shockwaves through the gospel music world. Within hours, artists, pastors, musicians, and worshipers from around the globe began expressing grief over the loss of a man many consider the foundation of modern gospel music. Today, we are going to tell you about Richard Smallwood's funeral, the powerful tributes being prepared in his honor, and which legendary voices stepped forward to celebrate a life that transformed worship forever. But beyond the headlines, there is a deeper story about why his passing feels so personal to so many. For more than 5 decades, Smallwood's music defined sacred moments across churches, concerts, and global stages. Classically trained and spiritually grounded, he created songs that demanded musical excellence while remaining deeply rooted in faith. Works like Total Praise and I Love the Lord became more than songs, they became prayers sung by millions. For Donnie McClurkin, Smallwood was not only an influence but a spiritual blueprint. Sources close to the gospel community say Donnie often credited Smallwood's music for shaping his understanding of worship, discipline, and purpose. That bond explains why Donnie's tribute carried such emotional weight. Richard was born with an extraordinary musical gift. Richard Smallwood's journey was shaped early by classical training. He studied piano, composition, and vocal performance with a seriousness that set him apart from many of his contemporaries. This classical foundation became the backbone of his signature sound, allowing him to blend complex harmonies, orchestral arrangements, and theological depth into gospel music in a way few had done before. At a time when gospel music was often expected to follow traditional patterns, Smallwood pushed boundaries without abandoning reverence. He introduced intricate chord progressions, dramatic dynamics, and choral arrangements that demanded technical precision. Yet his music never felt academic or distant. It remained deeply emotional, deeply spiritual, and deeply accessible to worshipers. His career gained national attention in the late 1970s and early 1980s, when his compositions began to circulate widely among choirs and churches. Songs like I Love the Lord quickly became defining pieces, blending personal testimony with congregational worship. The song's emotional honesty resonated with audiences, making it one of the most enduring gospel songs of its time. Then came Total Praise, a composition that would ultimately define his legacy. More than a song, it became a sacred declaration used in moments of collective grief, national remembrance, and deep worship. Its opening lines, restrained and reverent, built into a powerful expression of surrender and faith. Choirs across the world adopted it as a staple, and it became one of the most performed gospel works in modern history. Smallwood's influence extended far beyond gospel circles. His work was admired and embraced by mainstream artists who recognized the depth and sophistication of his compositions. Artists such as Whitney Houston and Destiny's Child drew inspiration from his sound, bringing elements of gospel tradition into popular music. Yet despite this crossover influence, Smallwood remained firmly rooted in ministry. Over the course of his career, Richard Smallwood received widespread recognition for his contributions. He earned multiple Dove Awards and Stellar Awards, reflecting both industry respect and audience admiration. His work also garnered 8 Grammy nominations, a rare achievement in gospel music that underscored the breadth of his impact. In 2006, his induction into the GMA Gospel Music Hall of Fame cemented his status as one of the genre's most influential figures. The honor recognized not just his success, but his role in reshaping gospel music's sound and standards. For many younger artists, Smallwood became the benchmark against which excellence was measured. That recognition reached an even broader stage in 2023, when he received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Joe Biden. The honor highlighted his cultural influence and lifelong dedication to using music as a form of ministry. It was a moment that affirmed what gospel audiences had long believed. Richard Smallwood's work transcended genre and entered the realm of lasting cultural significance. As news of his passing spread, the reaction was immediate and emotional. Choir directors shared stories of rehearsing his music late into the night, striving to meet the demands of his arrangements. Worship leaders recalled moments when his songs carried congregations through grief, illness, and uncertainty. Artists spoke of learning discipline, humility, and purpose by studying his compositions. Yet amid the outpouring of tributes, there was also a sense of anticipation. The gospel community understood that this moment would not end with words alone. Questions began circulating quietly. Who else would step forward to honor him? Which voices shaped by his music would offer public tributes? How would the industry come together to celebrate a life that defined its sound? Behind the scenes, discussions were already underway. Insiders suggest that multiple artists spanning generations are expected to pay tribute in the days ahead. Names are being kept private for now, adding to the growing suspense. Those close to the situation emphasize that nothing is being rushed. Every decision is being approached with care, respect, and intention. The Gospel Music Association acknowledged Smallwood's passing with a statement emphasizing celebration rather than sorrow. They highlighted his influence on gospel music, his lifetime of faith, and his commitment to excellence. According to the organization, his legacy continues to inspire worshipers and musicians around the world. Despite decades of success, Richard Smallwood remained known for his humility and focus. He was often described as a perfectionist in rehearsal, demanding excellence not for applause but for worship. Musicians who worked with him recall his insistence that every note serve a purpose and every performance honor God. For Smallwood, music was never about personal recognition. It was about ministry. That mindset shaped generations of gospel artists. Many credit him with raising the standard of gospel music, proving that faith-based art could be both spiritually powerful and musically sophisticated. His influence can still be heard in modern gospel arrangements, choir techniques, and worship compositions. As tributes continue to emerge, the sense of suspense surrounding his funeral grows stronger. Fans and fellow artists are eager to know how and when his life will be formally honored. Will there be a public memorial? Will choirs unite to perform his most iconic works? Will multiple generations of artists share the stage in tribute? For now, those details remain undisclosed. Sources close to the family and organizers say plans are still being finalized. The silence surrounding funeral arrangements is intentional, reflecting the same reverence that defined Smallwood's career. What is certain is that when the time comes, it will be more than a farewell. It will be a moment of worship, remembrance, and reflection on a life that taught millions how to lift their voices with purpose. Richard Smallwood's story is not one of sudden fame or fleeting success. It is the story of steady devotion, disciplined craft, and faith expressed through sound. His music did not chase trends, it created standards. His compositions did not fade with time, they became embedded in worship itself. As Donnie McClurkin's tribute continues to circulate, it stands as a reminder of the personal impact Smallwood had on those who followed him. For Donnie and countless others, Richard Smallwood was not just an influence, he was a guide. As of now, the funeral has not yet taken place and no official details have been released. When the service is held and tributes are formally delivered, full information will be shared. Until then, the gospel world remains united in remembrance, waiting to honor a man whose music will never stop lifting hearts in praise.